I'll count y'all down.
The claw. The baby claw.
Baby shark.
No. No.
No, they can hear us. Literally, they can hear
Okay.
us. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
We'll just go ahead and
Yeah.
go here. What's up, everybody?
We're back.
We're here. E3 2019.
It's been a journey.
It's been a week.
Yes. And it's only Sunday.
Yep.
So,
If this is your first time, I'm Zach,
I'm Derek.
I'm Allie.
and this is the gang's almost all here.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like when SpongeBob has like the chip and the napkin and like the paper clip or whatever. It's like gang's all here.
Yeah. Just like all these
But we're going to be talking about Microsoft and everything. Welcome to the stream. We'd love to hear what you are thinking as Derek yeets the mess out of that thing.
Well, no, I'll hold it like this. We'll continue. The show will go on.
I'm going to fix that.
Okay.
Because this is how it works. Hey, Sean. And Derek's going to explain what we're talking about. So just go ahead, bro.
So we're going to go ahead and start talking about what we expect to see. Now, Phil Spencer's already come out and made some bold statements. Like, he's already come out and said, the biggest E3 we've ever done, it's going to be a 2-hour show. They're normally about an hour and a half or less. So, and they're going to show 14 Xbox Studio games. Now, not exclusives, but and that's including, because you remember, they bought in total from last year 7 new studios, but 5 of them were announced last year. Those were Undead Labs, Playground Games, a new studio they're forming in Santa Monica called The Initiative, Ninja Theory, and Compulsion Games. And then at FanFest back in November, they announced they acquired In Exile and Obsidian. So we're probably going to see something from all of those studios, or at least a tease. The Initiative's the only one, because I think the last thing I read was they're still in the hiring phase. So if anything, they might be like EA that one year, where it's like just concepts and it's just like nothing hardcore. But Undead Labs, probably you'll just see something from State of Decay update. It's too early to show a tease for State of Decay 3, maybe a tease for the next thing they're working on, but you would expect an update for State of Decay 2. Playground, we don't know because, well, we'll get into it later, that it's probably not going to be a Forza game this year. They said
That's
on
a good thing.
Yeah.
So Ninja Theory, though, it's already been leaked that they are working on a multiplayer brawler game called Bleeding Edge. So that's going to be their new thing. They've apparently working on this back in 2014. They're going to unveil it officially. The trailer kind of leaked a few days ago, like a snippet of the trailer leaked a few days ago. But they were working on this. Like, I guess they split into teams because one team worked on Hellblade and the other one has been working on this since 2014. And then now Microsoft is giving them the funding to finish that project.
Yeah.
Compulsion Games, they put out We Happy Few last August, I'm assuming. Then they announced, 3, I think at least 2 DLC packs, but maybe 3, I forget. But you're looking to see those. We haven't seen mum on that. I think they announced what they would entail, but they haven't shown gameplay or announced dates. I think that we see at least the first DLC pack from them this year. In Exile, they're kind of a smaller one. Like, they do the Wasteland series, turn-based RPG survival game, so we might see that at E3 or nothing else in a montage. And then Obsidian, that's the big one because they're doing the Outer Worlds game, from the original Fallout creators. So that'll be the big one this year that'll probably be out of all those new studios. That'll be the biggest chunk we probably see of that because I think that's the most ready because we saw it first unveiled at Game Awards back in December.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they did like a really, really small teaser for it back last year in E3, right? Or am I thinking of something else?
no, you're thinking of Outer Wilds, which came to Game Pass. There was like another space game. It's like more of like an indie game.
Oh, okay. I could have swore like maybe I'm thinking of something else, but I could have swore like they were like, oh, by the way, we're working on a space game. Maybe
Right.
that was the Bethesda conference.
That's
Oh,
Starfield.
that's Starfield.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
We're gonna have to, when you're ready to talk, just grab,
Yeah.
yeet that thing.
We'll do it live.
Making
So-
it work, y'all.
So, do we think, we saw them purchase all these new studios. Do you think we'll see them announce at least one new studio acquisition at E3, or is that something they save? Because they're doing Inside Xbox episode tomorrow. So, do you think we hear it in a few minutes? Or do you think...
If they have one, they say it. If they don't say anything.
Yeah.
Like, they don't even tease it. I think last year, the acquisitions were to quiet the home front.
Yeah.
Because there was so many
'Cause you
people saying, "Where are the Xbox exclusive games?" And it had went for such a long time. It was like, we've got to get some studios here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I.
Well, and you got to think too. That's right off the heels of God of War when they announced that last year. So because God of War was the mega hit success for Sony, won Game of the Year, but that Microsoft had to do something to like quell the noise.
Yeah, I think I'll go somewhere like in the middle ground and say that like I'm just it's been a while since I've been with the mic.
I know.
Been a while. It's been a while. I think it's one of those if it's like if it's like a bigger name that people would recognize, they would announce it.
Yeah.
I'd say like if they have it, but if it's a smaller name, then they would wait to announce
That's
it.
why they did the Obsidian and In Exile at FanFest.
Right.
So, but I think they kick off the show, and we're going to see a big chunk of it because it's going to be their big fall game from Gears 5. I am so stoked for this. I'm ready to get back into the Gears. Like I love all. Gears 4 had its feedback and all that.
It had its moments.
But I loved all the cast, even if the story was kind of lackluster. I loved the voice cast of everyone.
The voice cast is good. The character development was lackluster.
Yeah. That's why they brought Marcus Phoenix back.
Very, 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 very true. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the E3 Microsoft conference that's about to happen. We're giving our kind of rundown and predictions and everything. We'd love to know what you're looking forward to in the chat.
I think now, do you think we'll see, because they started off last year's show by teasing Halo Infinite. Do we see more of that, or because people are pointing that as now because they built a new engine to run this on, and they're now saying it might just wait till the next console comes out before they actually. So do you think we see more of a proper trailer? I don't think we see gameplay, but do you think we see more of an extended trailer?
If we see anything, it's for the next console to build buzz around it.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I was gonna say.
So, and this game is surprisingly still not out. Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and that's a sequel. Love the game. Was beautiful artwork. I'm excited for the sequel to see what they do. They have to give a date, and I think that's probably going to be that feels like an August game to me. It's not a prediction, but
Yeah. I feel a little wispy right now.
So I think we also see something from Sea of Thieves. I think it's still too soon to have Rare do something new, and they're all hands on deck, for lack of a better term, for Sea of Thieves. So I think they just had the anniversary update like a few months ago. So I think we see the next batch of content for that.
Yeah, I think they'll double down before they let go of it.
Right.
They got to keep swabbing the poop deck.
As we addressed, there's no Forza game this year. They actually confirmed. I thought it was a rumor. They actually confirmed it on a live stream they did for Horizon 4. That they said, yeah, there's not going to be a new. And this would be Turn 10's year. Playground does the Horizon. Turn 10 does the Motorsport, and they actually confirmed that they're not doing a Forza this year. So that's going to be big because that racing franchise, while the racing games do get stale, has always been big for Microsoft. So not having a big staple come out this year is going to be big. Okay. I see the wheels turning already.
I was going to say, I think that means that like they're very confident in something else that they're going to announce, that they're like, we don't need to make this game.
Right.
Just from the chat, Quentin says, "Can I see some Halo Infinite?"
Maybe. I mean, that's up to Microsoft. Like I said, I don't think we see gameplay. I think we just see an extended CG trailer, if anything.
I will personally call Phil Spencer up and get him to show you some Halo Infinite. They'll change the whole thing for you.
Yeah. Now this next one, they've always been hardcore. It was the first of the battle royales to come to their console. PUBG update. We haven't seen anything since they unveiled the snow map back at Game Awards. Yeah. So I think it's time for a pub. They just put out an article, I think a few weeks ago, that I posted saying that they're going to do themed events. So, but I think we may get a map in like the next big event that they're going to, or the first of the themed events they're going to do.
Do you want to know why they're doing themed events?
Because of Fortnite.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The king, baby. The king. Pinatas.
Have you ever played Fortnite?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I guess I've never seen you play it.
Yeah, I played it on live streams.
I've been very busy.
Now.
I haven't recently since like we came back, but before I left.
Now. This next one they teased as only just a logo in a 2019 date, but we probably will see more from Battletoads. Battletoads,
like there's some people really hyped for it. Some people are crapping on it, like this guy. I think it is what it is, and I think it's just one of those properties they got, so they're going to use it. So
Yeah.
it's it's all good.
I'm completely indifferent.
Yeah. Now they teased this last year, and again, it's like Ori. It's not out yet, but they teased Cuphead DLC last year. It's called The Delicious Last Course. We have not yet seen it. The only thing Cuphead we've seen since then is it came to Switch back in April. So we haven't seen the DLC. So we probably will see more. If anything, it'll probably get a release date.
Yeah, I know Nick Caputo has been loving it on the Switch, also hating it at the same time.
Yeah.
because it's
Well, I mean, that's
killing
what
him.
that game creates. It's
Yeah.
a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
Now, Microsoft showed this was the first one to unveil this big MMO coming to their console, and they've shown big. They have always wanted to go. They showed it in 2017, and then they showed it again in 2018. Black Desert, it's already out. Came back beginning of April. I think since they've shown it twice, I think we see the tease for their next expansion content. Sort of like how we see Elder Scrolls Online tease their next thing every year. So I think Black Desert's going to
Yeah.
get that same treatment.
I'll be excited to do that. I remember, it was a while ago. I tried to get Black Desert. Yeah, and like it was a problem where it's like every time I tried to open it, it would crash. And then I think it was like a year or so later, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it again. And like I really like it. I think it's a really good game.
Yeah.
And the creator part, you just get lost in that. So I do hope that they show expansions for that, because it like that game has so much potential to like be even more than it already is.
Right.
Would Pandarax the Destroyer be able to be made in this game?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So
Derek's like, what are you talking
yeah,
about?
I have no
Nerd
idea.
Cave and Dragons, man. Nerd Cave and
we never
Dragons.
Oh,
I want to finish it. We'll talk. We'll talk.
so the next thing, do you think we see anything Fallout 76? Because that's if they showed it the first time, other than the initial unveiling trailer before E3, they showed it, at Microsoft's conference before the Bethesda thing. Do you think or do you think they just save it for Bethesda's conference?
Oh, I think Microsoft is going to stay very far away from Fallout 76 because of all the crap that has been associated with it. So if I was Phil Spencer, I'd be like, I'm going to cut as much flack away from Microsoft.
Trim the fat, as they say.
Yeah, like I don't want to be associated with this trash. This garbage truck on fire rolling down hills.
Yeah.
It'll be like Todd calls up and he's like, "Hey, you want to, do some Fallout 76 stuff?" And he's just like, "New phone, who dis?"
No, bro, I'm good.
No habla Espanol.
We'll see at E3 though. So now another thing they've always been adamant about showing the last couple of years is something from the Life is Strange universe. We saw the prequel series a couple of years ago, and then they did that one-off, the Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit. Then they, Life is Strange 2 started back in September. Episode 4, they're still putting out the seasons. They got 2 episodes left. Episode 4 is out August 22nd. So do you think we see like a tease of the new episode before it's out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that. I'm going to jump in the chat. I know this is a little bit later.
You're good.
Cyberpunk, this is from Quentin. Cyberpunk 2077. Come on, CD Projekt Red. Give me something more. I feel like I'm too hype after loving Witcher so much.
We'll address that in a minute. So, but yeah, I do think we see more since they showed the first look at it last year at the end of their conference. I do think we get to that, and in fact, we can jump to that right now. I think because there's already some leaks about they're showing off the box art for it on some websites.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be this year, but I think we'll get a date. So it'll probably be early next year.
Which one is that again? I can't remember.
That's the that's the Cyberpunk. That's the one they teased way many years ago. It's by the same people who did the Witcher series.
Oh, okay.
It's like the future dystopian, all people are cyborgs also.
Oh,
So
okay.
Some of them, not all of them, but
It's like Deus Ex, but like better.
yeah, minus the
Dragon.
stealth.
Who needs stinking stealth?
I'm gonna say Snell.
Snell.
Now, do you think because Metro came out and Phil Spencer has been adamant about his love for the series and the franchise, they've announced what the DLC will be, but they haven't put any out yet. So, do you think we'll see the first DLC expansion for Metro Exodus?
I don't know. I don't know how well it was received. I know a lot of hardcore Metro fans were not very happy with the newest game. Not saying that they wouldn't make one, but I don't see the need
Right.
to make DLC. But it's like everything's already built, So it's like we could keep doing that, but I don't see the spending power
Right.
behind making more deals.
Right.
If I was over the company, I'd be like, all right, switch gears. Let's go to the next thing.
Right.
Much like EA, and they're killing of everything.
It's true.
They're like Unicron.
I'm gonna say this is going to be brief. I think we're going to see another indie montage. They've kind of shown it the last couple of years. That's going to be a given.
You know who they got that from?
Sony.
Exactly.
Um,
Baby.
do you think we'll see Borderlands 3? Because I think they're kind of like, they're not at Rockstar level, but they could just be like Rockstar in the sense that we don't need a stinking conference. We could just be like, hey, we'll do our own thing. But
I was actually talking to a friend of mine, and he was saying that like he has a really strong. I mean, I don't know, but he has a really strong feeling that they'll probably show like a small teaser for
Yeah.
it, possibly. I
Probably
would
the
hope that they
characters.
would. I think it'd be interesting. Yeah, that'd be really cool if they would show us like some of the new characters. But yeah.
I think. When does it come out? Have they put a date?
Borderlands September 13th.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't see why they wouldn't do it, especially with one of the big two.
Right.
That's only having a conference. It would be stupid not to show their game, get some hype behind it, build it up, show some new stuffs. They've pushed it. They had that event a few weeks ago, I want to say, about Borderlands. Like, we have already announced this, but we got one more thing for you.
Right.
And then show that. And I think people would be really interested in that.
Right.
So I think it would just be smart to do that.
Now, the next two games are going to be both zombie games. Now, one they showed off last year for the first time. That was Dying Light 2. Now, this one is going to be another one of those, could we see it here or there? Because apparently I missed somewhere, because, WB helped publish the first game in the franchise. Now, apparently I missed the fact that Square Enix has helped publishing the second one. So, but because Square Enix has said, if we don't see it here, Square Enix has openly admitted, hey, you're going to see it at our conference this year. So, do you think they show more of that? Because, they did spoil a lot of Square Enix's conference last year, so.
I think Square's not going to let them have it. I think it was such a sleeper game that did so well back in the day because it hit that January space, and now everybody's doing it. But I think it would be something that would be big for them to have at their own conference.
Right.
So I would, if I was Square Enix, I'd be threatening Phil's life.
Right.
I'm just holding him hostage.
Another one that's been popped up recently is like a phoenix from the ashes and apparently THQ Nordic has one of their many properties is Dead Island 2 has seen, Sony first unveiled it back in 2014 E3 or 2015, one of those 2 years, but we haven't seen mum on that since. All we see is it keeps getting delayed. So do you think it shows up? If Dying Light 2 doesn't show up, do you think we get Dead Island 2 showed up here?
Yeah, I can see it if it's alive.
Yeah, just to get the mind share back that, hey, we still exist, guys. So,
zombie jokes. That's what we got here. They got about 10 minutes left.
Yeah. So, the last two things I want to touch on is Code Vein. We haven't seen, they've done developer diaries the last couple weeks about the process on it. It's been delayed. It's still somewhat this year, but we haven't seen it since Microsoft showed it at their conference back in 2017. It's that vampire game by Bandai Namco. So it kind of feels like a Platinum game, but it's not Platinum Games. So I think we see more of that this year. And then the last thing we'll touch on is it's already been leaking that they're gonna do like what they did with the Xbox One X a couple years ago. They're gonna tease their new hardware in advance, assuming they're gonna tease their new for the next Xbox, whatever that's gonna be called. They're gonna tease it, just do a montage, be like, oh, it's a beast, it's got so many teraflops, and then it's gonna be like next year is gonna be the full blown release. So.
Yeah, I would say that. As you get your predictions up, Quentin's asked about Left 4 Dead 3. I don't think we see it. If we do, it's something that Valve would announce themselves.
Yeah.
And then Activision, he's wanting to know our thoughts on Activision wanting to do Spyro and Crash. They want money.
Yeah.
And they saw that Crash and Spyro made a lot of money, and they're wanting to get back on that bandwagon.
The sad part is Activision said they won't be at E3. So.
And that's okay. That's okay.
All right, the moment you've all been waiting for, the time that I take the crown back.
She's our scorekeeper.
Okay. So, I'll go first.
Okay. That's
So,
fine.
how this is going to work, we're going to give 3 regular and then 1 bold. if we get a regular one right, or even part of it right, it'll be half a point to a point. But if we get the bold right, it's going to be 2 points at most. So, without further ado, my first one is going to be Outer Worlds gets a release date of August. It kind of leaked a few months back when it was first unveiled, but they've said mum and this was taken down. I think that's true, and I think they come out and say August.
Ori and the Wisping Willows, or whatever it's called.
Will o' the Wisps.
Whatever. Comes out today.
Ooh, I mean, with Game Pass, that's possible.
I like it.
So, you just go slip her the 20 later.
Yeah.
Next one. This one's been not rumored, but it's been buzzed around because there's an anniversary coming up.
Mhm.
They show off a new Ninja Gaiden game.
Oh, yeah, I could see
So
that. Yeah.
I think it's time. They've had so
Yeah.
many different spin-offs. I think it's time that we see something. I think their 30th anniversary is coming up this year from the series release. So I think it's time and Phil Spencer has been great about doing, when he took over, he wanted to establish backwards compatibility, this, that, and the other. But another thing is he wants to establish a partnership with Japanese games and publishers to show, hey, we care about your games. We want them on our consoles. We can bring you this much more revenue. And they've shown something either like from Bandai Namco or some Japanese type game,
Yep.
at least one of them each year at their conference. So I think this is the perfect one to show.
Okay. Just got this one popped in my head.
Okay.
They partner with Sega.
Ooh, to make it exclusive? Or a timed exclusive?
Timed exclusives.
Okay. Okay.
Interesting.
My third one. Now, let me see. What do I feel? What do I feel? What do I feel?
My hand on your arm.
Okay.
Everybody's like, what are we even watching now?
I think with Sony not here, it's going to hurt some of their third parties being shown that they could have been shown there.
Mm-hmm.
Think we see a tease for the next Resident Evil game, and that Resident Evil 8. So,
That'd be cool.
That'd be interesting because we're 2 years out from the last full Resident Evil, right?
yeah, because it came out
2017.
2017, and then it'll probably be January of this year, of 2020. So
Yeah.
it'll be 3 years by the time, because Resident Evil 2 remake just came out this past January.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So,
There will be no less than.
all right, here we go. Here comes the crap.
There will be no less than 70 games showed at, not including the indie montage.
Okay. So the indie montage is like a separate segment.
Yeah.
So you said 70.
70.
70
70 games
in total.
in total.
All right.
Are you saying like, is the indie counting as one or the indie doesn't count at all?
No, the indie counts as one.
Indie counts as one? Okay.
Sort of like how, Lord of the Rings, Legolas is killing everything on that Oliphant, and Gimli's just like, that only counts as one.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. I like it. And is that your bold one?
No,
Okay.
that's not my bold one.
All right. My bold one. It's already been rumblings. Playground Games a couple years back formed a second studio, and everyone thought, okay, they're going to do a third Forza franchise. Then they come out and say, we want to do open world RPGs. Or RPGs. I think this year, since there's no Forza, Playground still comes out with their second studio, says they're doing a new Fable game. That's been picking up steam the last couple weeks, and I don't think they're going to call it Fable 4. If they do, I mean, that's not part of my prediction. My prediction is that they show it, but that's my bold one. I think they'll just do it like what God of War did, just recall it God of War. It'll just be called Fable. So, or like so.
See, I almost want to tack on to your prediction.
Yeah, but
So I'm going to do that.
I love you, man.
The new Fable will get a 2020 release date.
Ooh.
And just to make it more specific, it will be a fall game.
Okay.
Okay.
But if they don't say fall and they just say 2020, I get the point anyway.
Yeah. So.
Spaghetti. Not spaghetti.
So since we have a few more minutes, I want to go over some of the ones I put
Well,
down.
that's not bold, is it? We just did 3. We need one more for our bold.
No, I did 3.
No, he did.
Yeah,
Yep,
I did.
I
Ninja
thought it
Gaiden,
was-
Outer Worlds, and Resident Evil.
Yeah, but we didn't do a bold prediction.
Yeah, no, my
That
bold
was
one
the
was
bold one.
Fable.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Oh,
The bold one.
okay. Cool.
Okay.
Cool. Eat, fam.
So we do it live.
So what I was going to do for my bold one, but I walked into that one.
All part of my plan.
The reason why Forza isn't putting out a game or showing a game is because it is the launch title for the next Xbox.
Well, I mean, it was like, well, it was,
It's always been the launch
Yeah.
title, but that it shows it.
I agree. That makes a lot of sense. If that is true, you'll just get brownie points.
Does that mean I get brownies?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
do I get brownies? Okay, good.
No, you get bricks.
But sharing is caring.
Yeah, no.
Not in the nerd cave.
No.
But we play for blood.
Sharing is daring.
So there's some other things I had. Well, one of it was a joke, is like Microsoft doesn't spoil Square Enix's press conference this year like they did last year, because they showed literally like I rewatched all this for part of my research for this for the pre-shows, and it's like they literally showed over half the games at Square Enix conference. Like they Square Enix just had like maybe like 3 or 4 new stuff to show that wasn't at Microsoft, and it's just like, yeah, hopefully they learn from that and don't do that again this year. Another couple ones I said Cyberpunk is given a release window of spring 2020. I think because that's Witcher came out spring in 2015, so I think that's the sweet spot for them. Cuphead DLC is out today. Like that was your Ori. Like Cuphead DLC will be out today. Gears 5 Xbox One X Special Edition announced, which that's going to hurt my soul because I like my One S. And if this one looks good, I don't know if I'll shell out the money for it.
You shouldn't, because they'll come out with the next game and then it's a waste of money.
Yeah, you're right. This was already kind of debunked, but we already know Rocksteady said they're not going to be there.
Yeah.
But WB Montreal kind of hinted that they weren't going to show their game, but I wouldn't want to call bull on that one, so I was just going to be like, no, they still want to at least tease their next game.
Like for this conference, Microsoft is poised at a very big precipice.
Yeah.
PlayStation not being there is a huge thing. Like PlayStation pretty much owns the market right now.
Yeah.
So this is Microsoft's chance to take ground that they have lost for a very long time.
Right.
And I think it is something that will pay in dividends for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that given that, like, you know, like they aren't going to do like the Forza game, like you said, like they'll probably wait till the next gen console. I really think that they, especially having this super long conference, is that they are like they've seen that and they are at least going to attempt to take take advantage of it as much as they possibly can, which is what they should do. Even though I prefer Sony like a lot, I still want them to like you know seize the opportunity. And yeah, like you said, try to make up the ground that they have lost. I think that they're going to give it their best shot, or at least I hope they do.
All right. Well, that's 1 minute till. We
Yep.
hope the best for Microsoft, and competition breeds innovation. So I'm excited to see what's going to come forth from Microsoft, and we'll be right back here at the end of the Microsoft conference talking about everything that they've shown and everything. So we'll see you here in a few minutes, so about 4 hours. But right after we'll be back. So
Yeah.
we'll see you there. This has been Zach.
Derek.
And Allie.
Bye.
Hi. All right.